Hello everybody, I'm David Evans. I am Head of Philanthropy Services and Value-Based Investing for EBS, so welcome to you all again. Slight change of tack now. I think we're going to go more into the world of private philanthropy and some of the work that we've been doing in this area and some of the things that we're working on right now. The first thing to say, of course, when we're thinking about Asia, and I don't really need to tell you this, is that there's two big constraints. There's huge wealth accumulation in the region. We all know about that. But alongside that, of course, there is huge. The numbers are so big that there are huge wells of deprivation, poverty, and growing disparities across the region. You know. For example, we always think of, I actually come from the world of health, so HIV and malaria. We always think of AIDS in Africa, but in fact the largest in pure number terms of where most people have AIDS is South Asia. But because the numbers are so big, the proportions are small. So huge disparities, huge wealth. And there's a growing call for this to be private philanthropy to play a role in addressing these problems. And UN organizations, international organizations are increasingly coming to Asia and Singapore and seeking to engage private philanthropists. I'm particularly interested in philanthropy in China, and here's a very popular list that has the big donations. Cao De Wong last year gave $700 million. So that's a very positive picture, you might think, and a growing explosion of philanthropy across the region. Here is the Western models of philanthropy, Bill Gates and Warren Buffett in China last year, and they're coming to talk about their giving pledge. And those of you who follow China, that's media personality Yang Lan. Those of you who follow China will know this was a huge topic of conversation, this dinner and the gathering of these philanthropists and what they were going to say and the challenge put down by Gates and Buffett. And the general feeling was that somehow the response from the Chinese philanthropists was inadequate. I think that's a bit of a simplification, but we'll see how it develops. In China this year, this lady, I don't know whether any of you know her, she's called Guo Meimei, and she's become very famous in China, but this is a very interesting casebook of sort of what can go wrong with a brand and a CSR brand. In China, one of the most respected charities for many years has been the Red Cross, trusted brand. This young woman put her profile on a popular social media space and talked about her role at the Red Cross in China, and she exaggerated her involvement. She lied about her CV essentially and who she was, and this became a huge story in China. People in the blogosphere in China were saying, what the hell is going on? This person, who is this person? Why are they running this, working in this charity? And it's a very interesting example of how not controlling your message or can have very serious effects. She basically, China's most respected charity, contributions to it fell 80% year on year, just because of one action of really one individual in the social media space. Here's another scandal. This is Lu Meimei, Sister Lu, and this is again is about cronyism. It's about lack of professionalism in the sector. It's about using philanthropy as a place for jobs for the children and patronage. And there are other examples also. Song Qing Ling Foundation in China, another very respected foundation, has been impacted by somebody setting up a loan company and making loans essentially out of donations to the organisation. So I just wanted to just paint a picture of what's going on in the world of philanthropy in Asia, and it's incredibly, I feel so honoured to be here at UBS and actually playing a very small role in seeing what's going on at first hand. And one of the ways that we've done this is to work with INSEAD here in Singapore to really do the first in-depth study of philanthropy in Asia, from talking directly through our networks and those of our partner INSEAD with 200 surveys and 100 philanthropists, and really talking about motivations, why people give, what they want to give to, and what are they looking for in the future. And it's, for us, it's an important way of defining ourselves as a bank. Our engagement in this area, we have the largest global team of any bank working on philanthropy, and it's something that our clients are asking for us to talk with them about in the wealth management space. Here's some of the coverage. But anyway, what are the findings that we found? And really talking to the philanthropists, here are sort of 4 drivers of what they're doing and why they're engaging in philanthropy. The number 1 driver was very inward, somewhat inward looking. It was about a family legacy and transferring family values and to the next generation. This is slightly different from the picture in globally. And then another interesting finding that we found is that there is a difference in the philanthropy of what we would call first generation and second and third generation philanthropists. And of course, if you think about it, it makes sense that many of our wealth generators in Asia are people who've had, come from nothing, built something from nothing, experienced educational disadvantage, so they're very much tied to traditional areas, the first generation, older generation, and ways of giving. And there's a sort of feeling amongst the older generation that the act of giving is a good in itself. That there's obviously religious and cultural factors playing a role. And for the younger, new second and third generation, internationally educated, global millennial philanthropists that we can see now, they're more likely to think about impact, social return, and global issues. And then again, affiliation is very, very key in philanthropy in Asia. And I think we can all imagine that, but it's very, very interesting to see. Basically, giving in Asia stays in Asia, and it follows, still follows for cultural and various other reasons. It follows affiliation. So it may be giving to your place of origin, it may be giving within your own country, your place of origin, your religious group. And aligning yourself with that affiliation is very, very important. And as you can see, I was for organizations who dream of coming to China and talking to the philanthropists in China, they may be interested to know that less than 1% of giving in China leaves China. So you have to take that into account. Education is by far the biggest cause for our philanthropists in Asia, and that goes across the region, a huge diverse region, and basically trumps all the other causes. People believe in this concept of equipping people to fend for themselves, and it's a very overwhelming. But amongst the second and third generation of philanthropists, we start to see giving to issues such as arts and culture and environment, and we expect this to grow in the coming years. And then what are the challenges that philanthropists, and what are the trends that they see? The two main trends that were picked out by our survey sample is our social entrepreneurship and values-based investing. And I think we at UBS are seeking to, and many of our other banks are also seeking to develop this area of impact investing, where you invest in for-profit enterprises, but you monitor and evaluate the results of your investing and the social impact. And that will be a growing area, according to some estimates from Rockefeller Foundation and Monitor Institute. It may actually grow to be bigger than philanthropy itself. And then the top challenge, interestingly, for our philanthropists, many of them are high net worth individuals, basically. The top challenge they cite is raising funds and co-investors. And people think that our role as a bank is that we have people coming to us, wealthy individuals coming to us and saying, where can I spend my money? Where can I invest? What is a good thing to do? What causes can I support? And that does sometimes happen, but more often it is that these are very smart, motivated people who seek leverage, maximizing impact in their business, and they take the same approach to their philanthropy. So very often philanthropists come to us and say, I have this wonderful project that I've been growing and nurturing in Indonesia, and now I want your help in taking it to scale, or ideas on who else I can reach out to. So our philanthropists are also fundraisers, so one needs to get away from this model of thinking of there's the recipients on the one side and then there's the money and the philanthropists on the other. It doesn't really work like that. And just picking out the high need for relatively low level of professional management of foundations across the region. I'm very glad to see that really Singapore is a leader and has set itself out to be a philanthropy hub, and really has led the way in kind of promoting the professional management of foundations. What we find is that our philanthropists in Asia are very, very reluctant to talk about management costs. They have a visceral reaction to this idea of administration, in admin costs, overhead in foundations, and that's a good approach. One wants to be lean. One wants to have maximum impact. One wants to see the dollars going to the programs, but it's not always the lowest investment in administration, overhead, and management is not always the right choice and the most cost-effective choice. We try to talk with philanthropists about effectively managing and occasionally supporting and investing properly in philanthropy. So look, the key findings that we have are really summarized below. Successful philanthropists will learn to accommodate the aspirations of different generations. Family philanthropists I'm talking about. The values will be transferred, but the kind of activities and causes supported may change over a number of years. And you can see that in some of the leading foundations in Singapore who've managed to do that over the generations. The successful families will keep this focus or motivation about transferring values, these inward motivations about the integral value, intrinsic value of giving, but they should also start to think about impact and where can I have the most impact. Education, is beyond. We need to start thinking beyond schools, building schools and providing scholarship, and we need to broaden out this concept of education and what is philanthropy in education. And families need to be strategic, and they do need to be ready to invest in effective management. But we are very, very bullish on the future of philanthropy in Asia, and it's here to stay, and we're very proud to be part of it. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. So you see, we've covered a broad range of ideas, from more conceptual presentation that was made by Michael, and more practical down to philanthropy activities by our friends from UBS. You wanted to have UBS and us on stage, so there you are. So do you have questions? I have one. What would you say is the main difference or the specificity of Asian philanthropy as compared to Western?
Well, I would say the question of affiliation, that there needs to be this feeling of affiliation in the giving. So affiliation by place of origin, nation, and so forth. There's less global giving here.
Here.
Yeah.
Questions? Yes?
I would have one. It's very interesting to see what you're actually doing as philanthropy. But what is the actual value of CSR in banking? How would you say that? I was thinking, what value do you generate?
Well, this is CSR. That's the first thing to say. We have our social investment unit. I mean, I think. Wait a minute. That's the wrong way of putting it. I mean, CSR is a state of being which I think should apply across the whole organisation. So it's, and I think that's what the other presentations were getting to. And it refers to how you do things. The value for this engagement for philanthropy for UBS is it's making a statement about who we are as a bank and a brand, and you all know that we need, over the last couple of years, we need to address our brand and reposition ourselves in the marketplace. It's a way of differentiating ourselves, creating competitive advantage in a financial services market where things can sometimes be commoditized. We have a differentiating offer. It's a way of engaging our clients in long-term conversations, and a way of retaining clients and keeping clients close to us, which is a highly valuable business strategy. It's a way of motivating and making UBS an exciting place to work, and retaining the best, the best staff, and having people to work here. So there's a lot in it for us. There's no doubt about that.
Yes.
Hi, David. Actually, I'm Chinese.
Okay.
And my daddy, he's working for China Red Cross.
Oh, okay.
And I totally agree with you. He works in the funding department, and
Okay.
I totally agree with you that after Guomei event, they lose a lot of clients from companies and also the individuals who can donate money. So I think that Guomei event shows that more and more Chinese people, they lose the trust in philanthropy, no matter in government level or private level.
Yeah.
Besides, in China, private philanthropy is not allowed to exist because government is the only form in Chinese philanthropy.
Yeah.
So my question is, what do you see Chinese future for the family philanthropy services? Because it's very, very difficult to set up such kind of business.
Yeah, I think so. I know that there's going to be a new philanthropy law in China over the next 3 to 9 months. So we'll see a new law over that period. There will be the question, of course, in China is what is how do NGOs and charities get established and recognized? And you have this idea of the GONGO, the government organized NGO, and Red Cross, to be, without criticizing Red Cross, that is a GONGO. It is officially recognized as an organization. And there are certain areas in China, for example, the Shenzhen Special Economic Zone, where they're starting to see more of the kind of what we're calling the more genuine NGOs, the more critical NGOs starting to emerge. I feel very, very positive because the China government is moving from this sort of iron rice bowl scenario, which is no longer sustainable. It knows it has huge issues in healthcare, education, and it needs to create that third sector. So I'm actually quite positive about the future of philanthropy and charitable institutions in China. But I think the Guo Meimei incident, I think, is an important moment where it's clear that the old way cannot go forward, that people in China will not accept it, they want something better, and I think something positive will come out of it. Can I ask you, how are the people at the Red Cross recovering from this? Do they feel positive? What is the situation now?
They're still struggling. And actually, not because my dad works for Red Cross, but Red Cross is really innocent.
Yes.
Yeah, they have done nothing. I mean, the head of Red Cross is a good friend of my daddy.
Mm-hmm.
And actually it's a total, how do you say, blackmail for his reputation. And because of the event, many people, they stopped donating money to Red Cross. And other Chinese people, especially the youth, they protest on Chinese like Twitter.
Yeah.
And telling, oh, don't donate to Red Cross, it's not trustworthy. But actually, they're very clean, they've done nothing. I think it's the problem of people's idea, and they lose the faith in government.
Yeah, it's if somebody in the UK, if there was a Guo Meimei in the UK who got up and lied about their relationship to Oxfam, which is a big respected charity, it wouldn't have the same impact because people need to feel trust, and there's no transparency at the moment.
One last question to David. No? Any burning, urgent question to any of the three speakers? No, you're all hungry. So let me first of all thank our guest speakers for their intervention and the pleasure of listening to you. Thank you very much. Thank you. So now we can go to the lounge, and I hope that you will all join us for dinner, cocktail party. Thank you for coming.